Hello everyone. As there are health misinformation circulating on social media, let's stop health misinformation and learn about new diseases. Today, we will talk about two types of diseases, which are the infectious disease and non-infectious disease. For infectious disease, we will talk about Ebola disease, and for non-infectious disease, we will be talking about coronary heart disease. First up is the Ebola disease. The causative agent of Ebola disease is caused by virus in the Ariobola virus genus. The major strains affecting humans are the Ebola virus, which is the most deadly and responsible for large outbreaks. Then is the Sudan virus. Second last is the Bundibugyo virus, and last up is the Tai forest virus. The symptoms of the Ebola disease is incubation period, which is the silent development time for this disease, which lasts 2 to 21 days, mainly 8 to 10 days. The dry symptoms, which are the early symptoms, are fever, fatigue, muscle pain, headache, and sore throat. And the wet symptoms are vomiting, diarrhea, abdominal pain, and rash. Going on, let's talk about ways of transmission. There are two ways of transmission, which are the animal to human transmission and human to human transmission. The transmission of disease may occur when handling or consuming infected wild animals, such as fruit bats, chimpanzees, gorillas, monkeys, and forest antelopes, which are found ill or dead in the rainforest. Then, going on to human transmission, direct contact with the blood, secretions, organs, or other bodily fluids of infected people, contact with contaminated materials like clothing, bedding, or medical equipment, transmission from survivors to partners as the virus can persist in certain body fluids for months after recovery. Lastly, mourners having direct contact with the body of a deceased person are ways that disease may transmit from human to human. Other than the human to human transmissions, there are actually two ways of transmission that won't affect human to human transmissions, which are airborne transmission. Ebola is not known to spread through the air and not spread by insects, so mosquitoes do not transmit the virus. Next up, let's talk about the prevention methods and biological principles. Avoid contact with body fluids. Prevent viral entry via mucous membranes or broken skin. Safe burials. Prevent exposure to highly infectious corpses. Take vaccinations and isolation and contact tracing. Break transmission chains. Protective equipment are gloves, gowns, masks, goggles act as physical barriers. The five methods mentioned just now are the prevention methods for this disease. Now, let's talk about how the body defends against Ebola. There are actually three lines of how the body defends from Ebola disease. The first line is skin, mucous membranes, tears, saliva, and stomach acid, which acts as physical barriers. Next up is the second line, which are macrophages and dendritic cells, which engulf present antigens. Then, the natural killer cells destroys infected cells, and the interferons and cytokines induce antiviral states in neighboring cells. Lastly is the third line, the adaptive immunity. B cells produce neutralizing antibodies. Helper T cells coordinate immune response, and lastly, cytotoxic T cells kills infected host cells. Last but not least, let's talk about the immune responses to Ebola infection. From the upper left-hand corner of this comic, it talks about immune evasion. Ebola proteins block interferon signaling, weakening early defense. Then, let's talk about the right up corner of this comic. It's the humoral immunity. Survivors develop long-lasting neutralizing IgG antibodies persisting for years. Then is the bottom left corner about T cells attacking, which is the cellular immunity. Robust T cell responses critical for viral clearance. Lastly is the bottom right hand corner, which is about memory responses. Memory B and T cells provide protection against reinfection, stronger after neutral infection than vaccination. This is the end of Ebola disease. Now, going up to non-infectious disease, the coronary heart disease. Let's first talk about the five main symptoms of coronary heart disease. First is chest pain. Pressure, heaviness, or tightness in the chest, often triggered by exertion or stress. Next is heart attack signs. Severe chest pain lasting more than 15 minutes, sweating, nausea, dizziness, or pain radiating to arms, neck, jaw, or back are symptoms of heart attack signs. Next up is shortness of breath, especially during physical activity. Second last is fatigue. Persistent tiredness due to reduced oxygen supply to the heart are symptoms of fatigue. And lastly, silent stage D. Some individuals, especially those with diabetes, may have no obvious symptoms until a major event occurs. And this is the five main symptoms of coronary heart disease. Now let's go on to the risk factors. There are two risk factors which are non-modifiable factor which cannot be changed and modifiable factors which can be managed. Let's talk about non-modifiable factors first. There are three factors for non-modifiable factors, which are age, family history of heart disease, and gender. The risk increases after middle age. As you age, the risk will increase of having coronary heart disease. And for family history of heart disease, it depends on different families. If there are any close relatives that has coronary heart disease, the risk of you having this disease is significantly higher. Then is gender. Men generally at higher risk earlier in life. It means that male may have coronary heart disease earlier in life. Then let's go to modifiable factors which can be managed. High blood pressure and high cholesterol, smoking and exposure to secondhand smoke, diabetes or poor blood sugar control, obesity and physical inactivity, unhealthy diet which is high in saturated fat, salt and sugar, and stress and poor sleep habits. These five main modifiable factors are the risk factors of having coronary heart disease. Now, last but not least, let's go to treatment and control methods and prevention through healthy lifestyle. By changing your lifestyle, it can it can lower the risk of having coronary heart disease. Let's talk about treatment and control methods first. For lifestyle changes, heart healthy diet, having regular exercise, quitting smoking, limiting alcohol, and manage stress. For medications, there are four medications below that helps lower the risk of having coronary heart disease. And for monitoring, regular checks up for blood pressure, cholesterol, and blood sugar will help preventing more serious outcomes. Now, lastly, let's go to prevention through healthy lifestyle. Having a balanced diet like eating fruits, vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins, and healthy fats can prevent coronary heart disease. Going on, doing regular physical activities, at least 150 minutes of moderate exercise weekly, like walking, cycling, and swimming. Going on, weight management, maintain a healthy BMI and a waist circumference. Then quit smoking, which is being just said, risk will drop significantly within a year of quitting, and limit alcohol. Moderate intake only. Lastly, stress management, relaxation techniques, mindfulness, and having enough sleep, like 7 to 9 hours per night, will really help prevent having coronary heart disease. And this is the end of today's information about two diseases, which are the Ebola disease and coronary heart disease. Thank you.